More than half of humanity lives in towns and cities, and this number is growing all the time. In 2012, 1 out of every 3 people living in cities in the developing world lives in a slum. UN Habitat projects that this number will rise to 1.4 billion slum dwellers by 2020 if nothing is done.
The major problem we have here is poverty. We don't even have capital to start a business. And also we lack toilets. What we have is flying toilets. And also when you look at the quality of water that we are buying and using, it's not good.
Uganda, a landlocked country in East Africa, has a population of about 35 million people. Although Uganda's level of urbanization is low at around 13% of the total population, the annual urbanization rate of 5.2% is high. There is no corresponding development of basic infrastructure, housing or social amenities. This has led to overcrowding, traffic congestion, substandard housing, poor sanitation and the growth of informal settlements.
We are experiencing a very fast rate of urbanization as a country. Some of the demands of the people who move to urban areas include things like decent shelter, decent housing, things like modern basic infrastructure in the form of roads, in the form of sewage and sanitation arrangements, in the form of power supply, and in the form of social infrastructure.
And it is in this context.
In 2008, the Participatory Slum Upgrading Program, or PSUP, was launched. The program targets to improve the living conditions in towns and cities and positively contribute to Millennium Development Goal 7, Target 7D, to improve the lives of at least 100 million slum dwellers by the year 2020. Currently, there are 34 countries among the African, Caribbean and Pacific states participating in the program. It is an initiative of the ACP Secretariat, funded by the European Commission and implemented by UN Habitat.
The aim of the program is to address slums in a more strategic way, addressing systemic issues so as to achieve scale and also to achieve impact on the ground and changing people's lives. It is dependent on the inclusion of as many actors as possible so as to tackle the slum problems from different angles. Very importantly, it is action-oriented, practical, and it's rights-based.
The PSUP has adopted a 3-phase approach. Phase 1, urban profiling. Phase 2, action planning and program document formulation. And Phase 3, project program implementation. Mbale municipality in eastern Uganda has completed the first phase of the program. This approach of placing communities at the center of the program and encouraging them to make decisions about their own lives has been well received.
The UN Habitat has really assisted us, more especially as council, because those are such challenges we are facing as council, but we don't have enough funds. But as you come in, we feel that we are being assisted. So we pledge that you continue giving us your support.
It also helps to build the capacity of the communities, especially when you come to make the interventions which are intended to resolve the problems. The communities tend to get more involved if they have been participating right from the beginning. The program ceases to be a government program or a government project, and it moves more to our own.
I participated actually. It was a welcome idea, especially in our area here. People were very happy. They were actually helpful. For instance, if you went to a home, they were very ready to receive us. And actually they have been waiting for the outcome of that exercise we made here.
There are project had about 9 thematic areas which are interrelated and which supplement each other or complement each other. And this has made a difference from all other projects that have been done in that area of slum upgrading, because normally we have been looking at environment issues and housing issues and maybe basic urban services. But this covered a lot more than that, to include climate change, local economic government, and several other things.
Slum upgrading programs, when executed in a sustainable manner and taken through to conclusion, play an important role in breaking the cycle of poverty. But many of the target groups start out by being skeptical of both government and non-governmental organizations that initiate such programs. Act Together Uganda is an NGO that used existing structures in microfinance saving schemes to initiate the profiling stage of the Participatory Slum Upgrading Program.
For us, it's an entry point, because when you trust somebody with your money, then you have confidence to talk about other issues. But because they're organized around savings, they do other things, like they collect data about themselves. They know what concerns them, and they identify priorities to come up with, projects.
Florence Namaja, who lives in Namatala Ward in Mbale, has been fully involved in the profiling stage of the program and looks forward to the opportunities that it will create.
As a result of this exercise, community members know the population of this area in terms of males and females. We now know how many toilets we have, the number of water points and bathrooms, and because of that we have learned the importance of that exercise, and now we can sit down and plan for the future.
Slum upgrading program should be mainstreamed with the national programs in order to ensure sustainability. The whole issue of mobilizing the slum dwellers as corporate groups in form of slum dwellers associations or slum dwellers federations is important. They need to be empowered in order to lobby, in order to advocate for their rights.
The Participatory Slum Upgrading Program, working in partnership with all the stakeholders and the target groups, is well on its way to the implementation stage of this initiative. Rapidly growing cities in African, Caribbean and Pacific countries are now that one step closer to the ultimate goal of halving the number of slum dwellers by 2020.